Welcome back to The Truth in This Art, your source for conversations at the intersection of arts, culture, and community. I am your host, Rob Lee. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'm super excited to be in conversation with two guests. They are the creators of Pixalfest, a dynamic short film fest in Washington, D.C. that spotlights young, talented filmmakers. Please welcome Keith Dukes and Tony Diallo. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Privileged to be here.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for spending some time. And so, look, you guys are gonna keep me young. I think cumulatively, your ages combined is almost my total age. So I'm just trying to stay in. You know, it's just like, yeah, I'm still cool as I put in a, you know what I mean? I'm trying to hang on. But to kick things off, like, could you both? And we'll start with you, Keith. Could you both? Introduce yourselves and, share a bit about, what is it, Pixalfest, how that came to life and sort of, the vision. But let's start off with the introductions and then we'll move a little bit further. So if you will.
Short and sweet. What's up, good peoples? I am Keith Dukes III. I love videography. I've been in the videography community since 2020. Before then, I was on some other stuff. But if we met since 2020, you know that I just love the game and trying to give back. So that's what Pixalfest is for and what we're going to talk about today. But short and sweet, that's just me. I'm going to pass it on to my guy, Tony.
Appreciate it, Keith. Tony Diallo here. What's going on, everybody? Pleasure to be here. I'm a lacrosse player, pretty much. I'll be honest with you guys. Play lacrosse, and, Keith here is a very close friend of mine. I consider him a brother, and he came to me with a passion and a dream, and asked how I can help. And that was through the back end stuff, through the business, and that's how it came to be through Pixalfest and making it happen. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Thank you. So for folks that are undipped, uninitiated, what's Pixalfest? Tell them what it is.
It's a great question, bro. I love to ask about Pixalfest. Overall, it's really just for a place where people can get their start.
Yeah.
And by start, I mean artistically, cinematically, getting your start. Like, if you have second guesses about your audio, your visual, editing, directing, this is a place to get live critique. It's not in such a professional and serious setting. We're gonna make it professional for you. We're gonna put it in a great space to show your art. But Pixalfest in general is just for people to test run what they believe is their best work at the time, and they want to get better through critique. So that's all it is, brother. It's just a nice place for people to, what's the word? Find a community.
Yeah.
And at the start of it, you don't have to go so deep in the community, your journey in the community to find it. The Pixalfest is the start. So that's what we want.
Of course. Yeah, I think a big focus for the festival, big focus for Pixalfest was the inclusivity of it all. We wanted anyone in there, everybody in there. It was a cool experience to do it at the theater we did it at, because we were able to interact with all walks of life, and got all walks of life telling us, all right, next time we'll pop on by. But a big focus was making sure everybody and anyone could be in there, and it was really powerful to see all demographics laughing at the same scenes, right? Laughing at the same scenes, getting involved. It was amazing.
So, and thank you. So we're coming off of, the festival was recent, and this is what, the first installment, second installment. Give us a little bit of those sort of like details, and where was that theater at? Where was it based at? Give us those details as well.
Some details for you. It was at Landmark East Street Cinema. And y'all heard Tony's intro. He's a humble guy, but I don't have a mind for business. So Tony found the location. Tony talked to the people. I took a back seat in terms of finding the location stuff, but shout out to Tony. We got Landmark East Street Cinema. We locked it down for September 5th, which is literally just over a month ago.
Yeah.
Just over a month ago. So great location. I think that's one of the things we wanted to promote was the officialness of it all, the professionalism of it all. So we're planning to keep it in DC, professional events. It can even be in Baltimore, but It was really good just because it felt real and it felt official. You got other details, Tony? I know that jump was pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was special. As far as detail goes, that's pretty much as Keith covered. I'm sorry, could you repeat the first part of your question besides?
Oh, sort of the proximity. You guys were in DC. It was about a month ago, right?
Yeah.
And just sort of like, having everything like come together. I guess that's what I'm like sort of like driving at, some of those like finer details before we get into the nuts and bolts of everything.
Oh, great. Yeah, bro. Rob, I can honestly say that we took it one day at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. We couldn't even start. I think the first start was putting a deadline to the work. We decided September 5th and we shot a commercial for it. We had no submissions. We had no participation. The only two people that believed in it are me and Tony.
So on this podcast.
Yeah, on this podcast, around June, before June, it got conjured up around June. Just the idea. So it really was an idea. And we took it day by day. What's it called? Post by post. Again, Tony's a humble guy, so he's not going to say that he made the posts for each of the Pixelfest promotions, meaning like he's done the graphic design for each submission, for each director, even the submission links. We all learned it this first go around because this was our first film fest. I can't say we've ever done it before.
Yeah.
But the officialness of it really surprised us just because the details came day by day.
Yeah, I think adding on to that, like it was learning process for us. So everything was new, and it had to be like, all right, next one, and from the jump, I think that establishment of accountability was really key. If I wasn't able to let him know what's going on or that this needs to be done and vice versa, this would have never happened. And that respect was also very key, between, two men, like, respecting each other, but being able to hold each other accountable.
And that's a really good point. Like when collaborations come together and, we have like different visions, and I've been in some collaborations. Some that have gone well, some that have gone not as well. And it's sort of that being, I guess, equally yoked, having that respect and that sort of that shared vision ultimately of, I do this, and sometimes, you have someone that's like interested in certain pieces of it, but maybe not share that, or maybe they're really good at certain facets of it, of maybe the business side of things, but it's like, film or podcasting, sure, but I know this side of it. And it's like, how can we operate in that way, and what does communication look like? But that initial conversation around sort of the vision, and then how do we build from there, and then having those, because you guys are friends, as you touched on, good friends, close friends, brothers, if you will. Sharing sort of that step by step, day to day of, where we at on that? So being able to check in and have those conversations with each other, make sure that you're in alignment as that clock is ticking towards the date.
Yeah.
And that clock, bro.
The clock was coming quick. I mean, that accountability was key. And I think what's important is it wasn't just like over the phone. It wasn't just FaceTime. Like, we were going into the gym, like between sets, talking ideas out, getting, we talk about what's stressing us out, right? Before the gym, go in there, we come with a plan, we get it done as a team, we get out. That's sort of the business. And, we always check in with each other. Like, I think that's really key. Like nowadays, checking in and just making sure, hey, bro, are we good? We good?
So hold on. What I'm hearing there is like in those rest periods, it's like, you hit another PPR, bro. You kind of tight right now. What's good, man? What's stressing you, brother? You hitting those weights really hard. Those sort of like the rest periods, like, bro, just take a second. No, I got something on my mind about the fest.
About the fest, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, we were stretching, and before we started, like Tony and I would just debrief because we would lock in, but we would just debrief about, look, moms, Pixelfest, girlfriends, just life, bro, jobs. And when it came to the festival, you know, it's crazy setting a goal in the gym and also setting a goal for the festival, because it's like you have deadlines, and the gym is a metaphor for life. So we hit a weight this day, we're trying to hit it the next day. So you have to constantly set goals, and I think a lot of people forget to set those goals. Not a lot of people forget to set those goals daily. So I think that's one of the few reasons that we decided helped us get there, as Tony had said, because it seemed like a lot. If you looked at what we had to get done, it was a lot, but daily we could deposit something.
100%. And I feel you on that, because, like, as a person that's done the gym thing for the last year consistently, get up super early, 5:30, do the run, do the weights, do the thing. And, it's sort of it's an endorphin hit for one, but also it's sort of like I've accomplished some things. So when I'm looking back as to what a production cycle, as I was sharing a little bit before we got started, I'm like, yeah, I got this many episodes left. We got this much slots left versus you see people, they get behind and they get bombarded. And especially when you're working towards a goal. And as you guys are describing, we're going to talk about it a bit deeper in a second. But when you have this is the date, this is what we're doing, there's a lot of space in between. So what are the milestones? How do we get there? And the other thing is collaboration. You're working with your mans. And it's just like, this thing fails, if this thing doesn't go well, or, do we have sort of that ability to be honest with each other when something's falling through the cracks? Because, there are times it's just like, the goal is this. And sometimes people get really caught on the goal. And then it's like, I don't care about your feelings. We got to get this thing done. And being able to work, and it's like that mutual respect, and it's like shared goal and shared vision. And all of that's just baked in, So moving into this. So talk a little bit about that initial conversation. Like, there's what I was hearing was sort of this altruism that's there of like giving folks sort of the shot to understand some of the finer details, and putting together production, putting together film, getting that critique. Why was that of interest for you? And why was that a thing that kind of brought the two of you together to say, there's something here. We this is something we can help folks on. We can see folks' films. We can help them kind of move their film to that next stage and get better. What was that initial conversation? What was the reasoning and the drive behind that?
From what I remember in my own perspective, I'm sure Tony's going to add on to it. In order to find out what was already there, we got something there, just to have that solidified. I think I personally was catching up with Tony, and I was telling him things that I feel like the game was missing. And by the game, I mean the community, the come up, like what I was missing when I was coming up in videography, or I wasn't exposed to. I wanted it to be more accessible. So I would share that with Tony at the gym or via phone, just whenever we could link. And, having somebody that is close to you that we could collaborate with, he just really expanded my mind on the possibilities rather than just an idea. So, sometimes you really need to speak on those ideas before going out and doing them, because I initially was like, all right, 90 people, maybe we can do it. Tony had bumped the number up from 90 to 240 tickets. So I was like, Tony, it's our first one. You think we're going to sell 240 tickets, bro, realistically? And he was like, he just had to remind me that there is more to the dream than I had thought. Because what I was thinking, there's just the idea and there's doubts. So those are my initial thoughts, just thinking about what the game needed when I was coming up and then trying to get it back.
Yeah, as someone who's not really an artist, like I very much appreciate the people who are, like, to be vulnerable and put themselves out there and put in the time to work on and create something out of nothing. Yeah. Where I found, I guess a kick out of it was seeing those people have that drive. When we had our panel, it was amazing to hear how most of all these directors were motivated to do this again and create more films, and the adrenaline and feeling they got from it, to see their films on the big screen, So, and one of those directors was another close friend of mine. Him and I have been friends for 11, 12 years now, Bennett Goki. And for me, as a friend, like growing up with him, boosting each other's confidence growing up. Getting him to put his film into this festival wasn't easy. I had to fight him a little bit, but afterwards he was glad. He's like, thank you, and that's I think that's what we need more of. Like, in hindsight, what all this came around was like community and pushing each other in the right direction, motivating each other the right way to follow our dreams and take that leap of faith sooner. Not wait 20 years and say, wish I could have, right? Take that leap of faith, do it now, no matter what anyone might think or say. And 9 times you're your own toughest critic, right? Right? That 100%, right? So take a chance. People are going to love what you have to share.
Thank you. I always think of the reps, right? Like, again, the gym and all of that, but sort of the reps of, it's just like, all right, we're going to grow from this first one. We're going to grow from this next one, and this, like, where we at moving forward from there. And going back, one of the things I wanted to touch on, and definitely want to touch on a few of the numbers, like how many, like, folks pulled up, how many directors and filmmakers were a part of it. But the thing that I'm curious about is sort of that other piece on collaboration. I find that, in my experience, because I'm more of that very big, like, we can do all the interviews. We can do 700 interviews this year. And I need someone like, yo, you should do 50, bro. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, just a little input.
It's just like, you need someone to try to not necessarily put a governor on your creative, like, output and your intent, but help sort of focus it, and much like a laser, in a very specific areas. Like, maybe it's not 700, obviously, but maybe it's sort of like, you can do 100 and it has to have this sort of through line or what have you. And this is why. And having that sort of trust. What was that like? Like, which one of you is more of here's the grandiose idea, and which one of you is like, all right, let's bring this down a little bit. You don't have to put too much dip on the tip now.
Yeah, it was definitely in between. It was a healthy mix. Yeah. I mean, I think since it was Keith's idea, right? So for me, I was doing my best to listen. I was always like, yeah, bro, if you have an idea, tell me what it is. Let's talk it out. Let's hear it, right? And we take it to how big it can be, and then we'd go from there. We'd be like, okay, maybe we stay up there, maybe let's bring it down.
Bob, you should have seen us, bro. When we would hit a goal, like, both our minds would just think of it. Like,
after we hit that, we're just like, what are we thinking? Like, why didn't we set it higher? So then the next goal, we're like, all right, set this up there, So
but then we'd be stressed and be like, how are we going to
No, I hear you. Get it done. Yeah. I hear you. It has that thing of, like, again, the sort of comparison to gym thing. It's just like, man, I'm feeling real good on this bench right now. I feel like I can do that 350. It's like, you sure?
And we're competitive. Like,
very.
I'll go first, or Tony go first. Most of the time, I'll ask him, do you want to set the tone, or do you want me to set the tone? Like, before we even start, because I could set it and you could do something less, but I'm not gonna brag about it, but I'm gonna let you hear about it. Like, I'm like, hey, I worked harder, I did more, I deserve whatever comes after.
Right.
So that's the same attitude applies to Pixalfest. It was like, all right, we're on the same team now, so how can we put our minds together in terms of the competitiveness?
It's the iron sharpens iron sort of approach. And when, like, I see, we talk about competition, right? And I think that there are times where it's just like, yeah, it's not always sort of that. It's not always sort of like competition. Sometimes it's just like competition in that direct sort of sense. It might be, all right, I think we can do a little bit more here. I think we can bring this up here. And I think we could take this to this level. And it's just like, yeah, I know you could do that. You can hit that. And that's kind of what those conversations, it's like that friendly competition, especially when you're collaborating. It's just like, oh, we can push that. You know what? We'll do 3 weeks of a festival. You sure, bro? I think we can do it. I think we got it. And you need to have that sort of energy. Like that's for me one of the reasons why I had a collaboration that kind of broke. I was just like, dog, you can't like diminish the thing that we're both working on. And it was just like openly, like kind of, it kills the energy. It's got to have that sort of positive thing. You need to be an evangelist for yourselves and for the project you're working on. So what was there a moment where maybe you didn't vocalize it, but you were feeling like, I don't know, not sure. I'm not sure where we're going with this. It's a little hard.
I really think after each goal, bro, like we've had a conversation just because after the first one, it was all new. Like planning was new. Me dealing with somebody else doing business, which is Tony, like Tony handling business was new. Now, this is something he wanted to do, but we both had ideas of what we wanted to do, and we both were competing to actually fulfill that. So I was pushing him to fulfill his business side, his ideas, his goals. And he's pushing me to do the art, direct, push the vision. So there were times where I felt like we didn't necessarily butt heads. And Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think we butted heads. But I can say we debriefed after each goal. We're like, okay, how do we handle this adversity? Where do we go from here? We would even get on each other when we wouldn't achieve a goal. Like I can't say we hit every goal. I honestly can't. There were some things that we said we didn't hit. There's some things Tony told me to do. It took me 3 weeks to do. And Tony was knocking assignment after assignment after assignment. I was like, bro, life is lifing. I'm so sorry. And it's cool. Yeah, to have that grace and do it with somebody that is like your brother and your friend. Yeah. It helps with the collaboration. I've worked with people that, it's hard to even have that conversation. As you said, you had that conversation with the person you collaborated with. So the fact that it made it easier, I could talk to Tony. That's the hardest part for me. It's the conversation or bringing it up. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, So what do you think, Tony? You feel like we was seeing eye to eye the whole time?
I mean, at all. Definitely. No, I think we saw eye to eye most of the time, like every time, honestly. Like after goals, it would be that hot moment of like, relief, but what's next? Like, is this it? Kind of feeling. But there were even times where we just didn't talk to each other for a few days, just break, and then that next day we're just like, how you doing, bro? How we doing with this? And we're right back to business. It wasn't any, animosity, where you been. There's no time for that, right? There's, how you doing? You good? All right, awesome. Like, what's going on? Are we meeting to talk business? We getting a lift? There are times where we lift and we look at each other. Look, bro, I don't have it in me today to talk about this. Let's just, do some curls, some crunches, get what we need, and then let's kill it tomorrow. Right? Those moments of just checking in and breaks and everything like that was very much needed. And there were points, I think, more towards like the middle or end where, Keith felt like he needed more assistance, and he brought in a wonderful addition to the team. Her name's Katia Simpson, I believe that's her last name. And there was a moment where there was confusion, where I thought, all right, is Katia owning some of these roles? And I asked Keith, and it was a clear-cut conversation. There wasn't, me waiting a week and then coming, hey, man, I thought that I was supposed to. It was, Keith, look, man, I'm your best friend. I don't want this to affect our relationship.
Yeah.
Pixelfest is your dream, your vision. If you feel like this is the person that's right for the job, I'll step away, because this is yours. I'm here to support you. And that comes first. So, there was that moment and that clarification of, bro, we're good. Let's keep doing this, moving forward, and created something beautiful. So just have that conversation.
That's really important. And I mean, frankly, like as I was talking about, like that's literally the very situation that we didn't have that conversation because I wasn't aware of it because I'm down for that conversation where this whole podcasting thing is my thing. And if you're collaborating with someone, you're working with someone, you got a co-host, and it's like, yo, we're doing this, we're a package deal, and so the public thing is there. Whether it's like, hey, we're doing podcast festivals, or hey, we're going there as
Well, that's hard.
a property, or as a brand, or whatever the thing may be. But then it's like this sort of subtle sniping and so on, and I'm like, yo, I didn't even know we were in a match right now. I'm, you throwing what you think are, haymakers. I'm over here not even jabbing because I don't know we're in the middle of a fight. And
yeah.
And part of it is it's just not being able to have what you two did have, being able to have those check-ins and have that sort of understanding and that sort of like is that professionalism, frankly, and that sort of you have a goal, you're going for it, and this is how we're going to get there, and us doing it together is one of the key parts of it. So in bringing it together, I'm really, really curious about this. So let's say it's a week out. We're like we're in, let's say not even a week out. The month of September rolls around. What's the feeling like? And give us some of the numbers too, because I'm still like I want to get the number of like who how many directors are involved, how many films, all of that stuff. But describe that feeling leading into it is like, yo, because y'all, college, right? It's just like, man, I didn't study for that exam at all. It's like, well, we're here.
Yeah, dog.
Can't pull out now.
To the T, like I'm gonna give some quick stats. I know Tony is, I'm telling you, he's the business dude, so he got his own perspective. So I can say this: month of September comes around, the goal is 240 tickets. We have 12 sold.
What's the percentage there, Tony?
We have 12 sold, and me and Tony are still going to the gym, and we're over here like, so how are we gonna get these tickets, bro? Because we invested some money into a project, into a vision. It's our first one. 12 people, thank you. To those 12 people, thank you. I know them all by name, but we were like, okay, how can we make an adjustment now? How can we get tickets sold now? So I can honestly say that when you study for a test in college, you feel a certain level of security until you see that first question. Like once you see the first question, you either think you studied or you didn't. So it wasn't until we put in a little bit more work and didn't look at those 12 as like the final, we saw that as a great start, 12 people that believed in this. So we took it from there, and it just came down to us talking to our directors in terms of promotion. Because when you promote a film festival or art, I think you got to invite people to your journey. We're telling people, hey, this is the first. So we're telling people to bring their moms, bring their dads, bring their brothers, bring their sisters, bring people that you want to support you, because posting on Instagram is not enough. Bringing it up and casual conversation is not enough. You really have to go out there and just sit and say, hey, this is an event, but my work's in here. So once we had that conversation with the, once we had the conversation with the directors, it went so smooth, and we really bumped up the numbers just solely off the Baltimore crowd and some of the directors, because I think we opened their eyes to what we were saying, like, hey, invite people into your journey. They started posting out flyers, handing them out, and the numbers spiked. I can honestly say before September 3rd, we were stuck at 12 tickets, but 4th and 5th, we skyrocketed to 116.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
It's but we've been promoting for 3 months.
I think sometimes, and I'll let you chime in a moment there, Tony, but I think sometimes when you're trying to plan events, and I've tried to stretch what this is into other sort of areas that are of interest of me that feel real, like whether it's doing movie nights, whether it's doing live podcasts and so on, I find like when you give people a little bit too much time, it easily falls off, or there's not that investment. And I think you guys were solving that sort of investment thing of using the folks involved as like, in lack of a better term, foot soldiers. Spread the gospel. We got this popping. And I think that that helps. And there are times where, you know, I've done smaller and in Baltimore, but smaller like sort of movie nights. And, you know, it might be 1, 2 tickets sold. I'm like, all right, I got to bump this up. Marketing background, throw it out there. And
marketing background, UMBC.
Right. And then there are other instances where it's just like, I almost got to accept it, almost in this role of acceptance. And it's like, well, I know I'm going to do something cool. I don't know what they're doing. And that's what it is. So Tony, what was your POV here?
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. I just remember looking at him and I'm like, hey man, how many tickets sold? And he's like puts
Not
phone
even a number,
down,
an exhale.
I held it from him for quite some time. I was
and I was like, all right, let me just let's get to work, right? Let's get to work. So yeah, you might have seen me looking here. I was just trying to make sure I had all the stats. But it was 116 total sold, 105 attended. We had 7 walk-ins who saw the flyers, appreciated it, and bought a ticket. Came in and watched the submissions. Our goal was for 10 total. We ended up having 11.
that blew my mind.
Yeah, it was great to have that many. We were also concerned about that. You know, are we going to need to extend it this? We ended up needing more time, honestly, for the event. 3 hours wasn't enough, which is incredible. You know, and 3 hours in a movie theater and people full of energy, lively, you know, energetic, interacting. It was great. And we had 4 different genres. So it was really powerful to see the like-mindedness, but also how different each one was. Like each documentary was.
It was beautiful.
It was documentary, reflection. What were the other 2, Keith?
Comedy.
Yes.
And drama.
Nice.
Yeah. And all of them completely different in their own way. And I think that was also another thing. You know, they're putting out their first film. They're thinking, oh, you know, someone's probably already done something like this, or this looks similar to something else. Each one everyone has their own style. You know, every director had their own style, which was great to see.
Going back to this one question, I got 2 more real questions before we go into those rapid fire, but I want to touch back on one thing. One of the things I noticed like earlier when we were talking, as far as like, for lack of a better term, I'll paraphrase, sort of almost this lack, like something was missing in terms of like other festivals, what their output was, what that scene looked like. Was there sort of a festival or sort of a community of filmmakers, of like younger artists that either of you had in mind and sort of building out like, okay, we want to do what they did. Maybe we can take from theirs and maybe sort of put our own spin on it. Because I have this concept I play with called Maya, most advanced yet acceptable. And it's like you want to do something that feels new, but at the end of the day, a sandwich is a sandwich. It's like I got a different slice of cheese on there. You know what I mean? So maybe the bread is different, but ultimately a sandwich is a sandwich. Was there a festival that came to mind, or sort of a community that you look at from a, you know, sort of creative or even from a business standpoint? They're like, we can do this as sort of the foundation and then make it very much ours and be able to grow it as we move along.
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. I think I know that the idea really came from witnessing one of the directors that I had reached out to. He inspired me to make the film festival just off of his work alone. Like his name's Gabriel Platt. He had a submission in a 48-hour short film festival. I want to say the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed his work. That was my first, I want to say first film festival I went to. So just seeing the layout and seeing the submissions and the organization, especially in 48 hours, it's a very makeshift type of film festival, but you can bring it to different cities. So I like the setup of it. But it wasn't until I witnessed seeing somebody put their work out like that after doing 48 hours of footage and editing.
Yeah.
It was real cool, and I got his contact information after that. And I can honestly say from that interaction on, I was solely focused on gathering people that made me passionate about my craft. Just because I'm like, this is my community. Like, I know we're all part of a community, but when I first started, I'm like, who can I talk to about this stuff? Who can I meet? Like, I really want to meet people that are doing it and really love to do it because they're going to encourage me to keep going. And it's kind of hard to do that when people see you and they don't want to share information or they want to gatekeep. Because, I have to show myself through my craft, but it's kind of hard to do that. But I did see it in Gabriel. Gabriel saw it in me. I got his contact information. And all the directors that I had assigned to Pixalfest throughout the submissions, I had met in the field or I had met through the submission process. But a lot of them, I want to say at least 9 out of the 11, I had a friendship with through going freelance videography, or I met them just like through growth, like through friendship. I like me and Tony had played lacrosse before. I met them when I was a lacrosse player, and I got to level with them as an artist. So it's really just meeting people in the journey, and I want to solidify that for Pixalfest. Because what stood out for us, a sandwich is a sandwich, but what made our sandwich pretty cool was the fact that it was youth based.
Yeah.
We took some time to think. Me and Tony and I, we took some time to think. We're like, how can we promote this festival new? Like, how can it be attractive to people? How can it not be swallowed up by the DC film community?
Yeah.
So this is a start. Like, this is our start. We want to keep sharing the start for other people. And just feel motivated because when you submit to Pixalfest, you should leave how people left our first one, which is hungry. The want for more. How can I accomplish my goal again? Because that feeling I had that night was amazing. Seeing people edit and then put their work on a movie screen for the first time, I don't think I'll get sick of seeing people's reactions to that. So really just creating that environment, the start, and it really came from personal connections with the directors and that 48-hour film fest that I had went to. Just seeing somebody else put their work out when I was scared to.
Yeah. I don't want to add too much because that was perfect. But from a business perspective, I wanted people to walk out saying, "Dang, when's the next one? I want to come back." That's so from the first week, the first hearing about it, I was like, that needs to be the goal. There can't be ifs, ands, or buts. That has to be, and it was great. Like, we had a hard time getting people to leave. People were hanging out, talking, coming down, congratulating the directors. We were like, listen, guys, we need you to leave. All right.
You gotta get out of here. We're gonna get fined.
We need you to leave. So that was a great moment for us. But just having that mindset from the start of, putting myself continues, like always trying to put myself in the shoes of the audience. What would make me come back? What would make anyone come back? And implementing that to the best of our abilities.
That's really dope. I love that. I love hearing sort of the reactions and the takeaways, because you have time removed to get that retrospective. Because when you're in it, and even the weeks after you're in it, it's like, man. But having time removed from it's like, wow, we did that. This happened. This went well. And I feel you. So I love that. And I want to move into this next and this last question, this last real question, which is almost a good segue to what we were just talking about there. I'm putting you guys on the spot here with this next question. So what do we have in mind for this next one? Because they say when literally the planning for the next one happens the day after the planning of the last one. So what's in store? I know it's a lot of planning, a lot of conversations, a lot of protein shakes and curls, between now and then. But what would you like to see?
Yeah. Can honestly say, so usually it starts the day after, but I took 3 days to really. I'm not even going to lie, bro. Throughout my journey, I celebrated for 3 days.
As you should.
And yeah, no, I was hyped. I was hyped. I felt it after, but I celebrated for 3 days. And once I finally got my head around what's next, it really wasn't until the last week of September. Just because I had to get back in routine. I had to get used to not playing for Pixelfest. But the next step is actually not Pixelfest. It's the next step is actually an art walk under Pixel Neon.
Okay.
Art walk is gonna cater to the really just the expansion of the word art in that community. So you can be a poet, you can be a painter, you can be a drawer, you can be a vendor. We want to collect those people and under one roof to promote their work. Once we give them that platform, we're going to promote the second annual Pixel Fest, which is going to that artwork's going to be in May, but the second annual Pixel Fest will be September 5th next year, and it will be promoted at this second event. This first event, but the second Pixel Neon event called it's not official, but Pixel Neon Art Festival, basically. Like, we just want people to get a hand. What's it called? We want people to get a real life invitation. So I want a conversation. I want people to feel like this is a personal reach out. 'Cause that's what sold tickets. Online, it did pretty good. People saw the commercials, but hand picking people to sell the tickets to, having a conversation with them, that's when it really came to life. So we're going to create another event under Pixel Neon name, which is the art walk, and it will promote the second, which will be the same time next year. So just going to start earlier, like, while adding on top of the game, while upping the score.
Yeah. Yeah, if we can include a little podcast stuff in there, that'd be great as well.
Oh yeah, no, you gave us
that's how it starts.
No, I was writing
How
stuff
it
down.
starts. There's plenty of talent there, bro. Come out, put the table up.
No, but I think it's really good to have that plan and have those sort of like the diversification of it and thinking through like, all right, celebrate the wins and then figure out like in essence using the sports thing. Look at the game tape. This is what we have and how can we sort of build off of it. One of the key things that I heard there a second ago is the personal invite. In a world where we don't do that as much. Like I remark to people all the time doing this podcast, this is quote unquote a media outlet, right? And as I shared before, I got my tentacles in a few different places, right? That this thing will go up on, but you'll have people who come on, share their story, all of that good stuff, and then they don't even share it, don't even put it out there, and it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. And my thing is, I can't do every piece of it, just more of a time thing. But I find that when I reach out to someone in a personal way, the really big high level guests, I take referrals and I look at those referrals like this matters. This is a referral, right? Like this is a thing that matters. Whereas when I bring in someone who reaches out and it's just like, all right, bro, what are you talking about? What's your thing about? It's like, I don't know if it fits. So when you have that sort of personal connection, I heard friendship throughout, right? Once you have that there, people are rooting for you. People are rooting for you to win. And I find that happens when those personal connections are there, like the CXC thing I was talking about, the comic cartoon thing I was talking about. Mm-hmm. The main conversation that came up in after parties and between buying comics and talking comics was this notion of friendship and community within this comic scene. And that scene can be changed to any scene, fill in the blank. But that's the thing that's important, especially in this social media world where it's like, I shared it, I liked it, I put it in my story. No one cares about that. Where's this little personal connection? Yes, 12 tickets. 12 tickets for my sharing in my Eventbrite, So that's sort of my 2 cents on that. But I want to give you sort of the last word, Tony, before we move into these rapid fire questions. Anything you want to add before we move into the rapid fire?
Yeah, I feel like Pixel Fest is now a template for us, a very good template for Pixel Neon. I think the beautiful part is that there's a lot that can be applied to this template, and I think that's exciting. And I think we're looking forward to what we can come up with, and I also think where we come up with. Right now, I'm currently in England getting my master's in international business. I think that Pixel Neon can, in time, certainly cross many oceans. Um, I think that people all over the world need outlets, especially this day and age, and just need, if not us, an example. So if it's by word of mouth or coming to one of our events, I think we've succeeded. So really looking forward to learning more about business and how I can continue to push Next Pixel Neon forward and everything like that. But yeah, really looking forward to the future.
Fun fact: Tony don't even need to go to school to do business. He really be doing it though. I seen it firsthand. I was like, I can't. I don't have a mind for it. I
It's
don't.
good.
Appreciate
Okay. All right. So it's rapid fire time. Like, don't overthink these. Don't overthink these questions. So here's the first one. What is one thing that your day doesn't start until you've done that thing? It might be, I gotta have coffee, gotta have tea, I gotta hit the gym, I gotta go for a run, whatever the thing is. What is the one thing for you that you have to do before the day really gets started for you in earnest?
Quick answer: me and Tony and I had done a Black Student Athlete Association, so BSAA at UMBC when we're playing lacrosse. One of the ways we closed out the meeting was taking a deep breath. I think it was 8 seconds in, 4 second hold, and 4 seconds out. Yeah. So I have taken that to heart at my current day job. Because I'm constantly going home, eating, fall asleep, going to work, eating, going home, fall asleep, go to work. So I breathe as soon as if I get in the car, if I don't wake up, or if I don't wake up, if I wake up, or if I get in the car, I'll take my cumulative seconds and I will sit and I will breathe. And I'll remember that time when I told other people to breathe. I remember that time when, Tony and I were organizing another event. Just those moments where, we're holding each other accountable, or I'm holding a class from full of student athletes going through the same thing accountable. I still feel connected to those people. So I try to remember that time through my breathing. Probably first thing, if not on the way to the job. So
Actually, it's good.
Yeah. For me, I'd probably be music. I go to sleep listening to music. I guess obviously wake up to it, but
what you listen to, bro?
Yeah, no, I listened to a great artist called King Cruel. Keith Dukes put me on to him. He's a UK artist. And then, in the morning, nothing like Playboy Cardi, get me going, fire pumped up for the day, head shaking, everything like that. But yeah, no, funny you mentioned BSA, man. Yeah, that's something we UMBC Black Student Athlete Alliance. Keith and I I was the president for 2 years, and Keith was the vice president for the first year, and then he graduated. Otherwise, he would have still been there. But that was like our intro to working together.
I like it. And I definitely now I'm gonna have to tap back in on some King Cruel as I go for my my evening walk.
Yeah,
look, there's some overlap,
Yeah.
Look up Getting Ribs.
Oh, that's the joint. That's the joint. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Oh, yeah. No, Rob, this is crazy, man. No one knows him, so this
that's
is
the
great.
joint.
I appreciate this.
So let's see. I got one specifically for you, Tony, that I'm going to ask you last, but I want to get this next one for the both of you. So obviously, working around film, having a film festival, there has to be a film that you both like. So I'm going to frame it this way: what is one piece of film memorabilia that if the opportunity presented itself, it's like, yo, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that in my home. I'm gonna need that in my place. Is it like, yo, I need Thor's hammer if you're a Marvel fan. I need something in the crib from one of these movies, the real genuine article.
Benny Rodriguez's PF Flyers from Sandlot.
That's very specific. I love it.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I didn't realize that was. So I knew it was a movie, but I didn't realize it was really a film, and because of the way it made me feel growing up. Man, I'm like, damn, they really love this game, and I just want to constantly love things that way. So when I saw this superhero of the film, this neighborhood hero, I'm like, what he got on? He got these PF Flyers on, and he running faster than light. So I'm like, if I had them in my room, and if I was writing a short film or something or another project, I would want to see them because I'm like, I need to capture that feeling.
I don't know, man. I'm between like one of Django's revolvers, one of the guns he used, or I'm between like Kill Bill's katanas. Like that's where I need some sort of weaponry.
He said Django's. He said with the revolvers.
I was waiting for you to say Django's fluffy shirt when he blicked that dude off, but
you know what? Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that.
I was very close, right, to getting. I still may get it. The Hattori Hanzo demon emblem on the sword as a tattoo. That joint from Kill Bill. I like to go obscure. Kill Bill is one of my. Look, we're talking 2003. 18-year-old Rob Lee was like, "I'm gonna need Kill Bill." I'll send you out a link. I did a review on Kill Bill for 20th anniversary not long ago. I'll send you the link on that.
I'll have to, send the link. I'll have to check that out. No, Kill Bill.
Here's the last one. This is the one that's specifically for Tony. But if you got anything for it, Keith, you can feel free to chime in. But since he's there, I might as well ask. So
yeah,
since you're in the UK, my producer is in the UK, so I'm very curious about this. All right, what's the best thing you've eaten since you've been there, man? Because things, I'm not sure.
You know what's crazy? The best thing I've had so far. I've got a picture of it, and I'll turn it to the camera.
That's how you know it's good because he has a picture.
I'm gonna say
I had it recently, man. It's the dessert. It's called Eaten Mess.
It's called what?
I know it's Eaton. It's spelled I think it's EATON mess, but it's named after they say posh, so like a wealthy, posh neighborhood in London, or posh school in London is called Eton. It's very popular, very expensive, and this is like a dish, and it's
okay.
Yeah, it's like I gotta turn the blur off. I apologize.
Yeah, help us out. Hey,
so it's strawberries, I think blueberries, blackberries.
Hello, meringue, right?
Meringue.
Oh, there you go.
You got an eye, man. Oh my goodness.
I'm a food snob, man. I've had that in Baltimore recently.
Yeah, and I think you said you had this in Baltimore recently.
Yeah, and I hang around the chefs. I mean,
I think we just need to hang around Rob. That's what we need to do, Keith, bro. But eating mess is that's been the best thing. I'm staying away from the fish and chips, honestly. But I'd say the Indian food here is very, very good. And besides that, Chef Tony is what I've been, working with, man. So, but yeah, eating mess has been the best so far. And if my parents haven't been listening, the beer's pretty good.
that's right. And thank you both. So that's pretty much it for the conversation. Both of you are off the hot seat. You made it off of the rapid fire questions. And in these final moments, there's two things I want to do. One, I want to thank you both for coming on and sharing a bit of the story, telling us about, Pixalfest and Pixel Neon, everything. It's been great. And, really, really proud and supportive of you too. And, secondly, I want to give you both the invitation to share where folks can find like you individually, work, pretty much shameless plugs. This is what we got right here. Hit them with the socials, hit them with the website, anything. The floor is yours.
Family, friends, please follow me at 500 MPH Dukes. I repeat, 500 MPH Dukes on Instagram. You can also follow me at Pixel Neon with an A. I repeat, at Pixel Neon with an A. And I'm working on the website, y'all. After the reaction I got from Pixelfest, I really want y'all to get easy access to it because I can't stand another week of 12 tickets sold. I'm gonna get easy and accessible for y'all until y'all be raise my blood pressure. But other than that, y'all, if you see me on the street, you see me in the community, please say what's up because I'm really trying to connect. Other than that, find me on socials.
Yeah, for me, Instagram at all lowercase Tony _ Diallo Diallo _ I'm also a member of the Jamaican national lacrosse team. We've got events coming up, next World Games in Japan. Plenty of events on the women's team coming up at Jamaica.
I told you he was major.
Yeah, at Jamaica lacrosse events coming in. Always looking for support. If you're Jamaican and you play lacrosse, pull up. We need you. So play. And then, yeah, I'm over here in England. Gonna do what I need to do. Continue to get my education. Get ready to contribute into the workforce. Help out Pixel Neon. I want to give a shout out to my family. I want to give a shout out to my mother, Tracy Duvall, who's my everything. Who's the reason why I'm here, why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. My amazing, strong sister, Yume Diallo, who motivates me every day and pushes me to be the best version of myself. And my father, who will hold me accountable if I don't. But love to my family, love to all those who support me, and look out for us because we're coming to take over.
And there you have it, folks. I want to again thank Keith Dukes and Tony Diallo from Pixelfest for coming on and to talk about the festival and to talk about their work. And I'm Rob Lee, saying that there's art, culture, and community in and around your neck of the woods. You've just got to look for it.